Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Kobe Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Kobe, I am just overwhelmed over last week. It was such a phenomenal time. Zion Fair really showed out and showed off during that 20th anniversary celebration. You got a chance to come to
Yes.
the gala. But all week long, we had preachers from all across this country. Everyone showed up. And it was just phenomenal. I feel renewed.
From the preachers, from the musical artists that y'all had as well too, from everyone who spoke. Again, everyone was excited to be in the room with one another, to be able to celebrate 20 years of dedicated leadership here at Zion Fair by your family as well too, because they're in this just as much you are.
Yeah.
And it was good to hear from them as well too. So again, I think my personal take, I had a great time there.
Yeah.
Not just because I got to dance, but because
That's what no, I'm gonna stop you right there, because they told me as soon as the music came on, you was the first one on the floor inviting everybody else to come and have a good time.
It's a celebration. You know, that's how we have to do. But overall, it was an amazing event. Y'all did really good. And also shout out to Miss Trista. Place, I've never seen that place look like that. It looked like we stepped into a whole different venue.
Yeah.
She really did a good job with designing, or however you call it, setting it up, the room and everything.
She was our decorator.
Yeah,
and,
there you go.
And let me tell you, since you brought Trista up, we were going to hire someone to try to give the look. That's what the committee was saying that we wanted. And then one person in the committee said, hey, you have a member in this church who does that type of work. But you know what I discovered? I discovered that sometimes we don't use our own because we never think our own is good enough. And I'm grateful to the committee for saying, you know what, let's use our own. It's our pastor. She got a love for him. I believe she'll do a great job. And listen, what she did with that night, and I hope they get a chance to show, well, it's going to be on YouTube and everything else. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. She transformed that ugly black room. I call it the big black room. She transformed it into a really beautiful site, and I'm very grateful for it. As a matter of fact, if I could just take a personal privilege and just say thank you to the Wrights, because, I was a little discouraged that none of the other funeral homes kind of supported us, which that's my personal problem. But he even did the transports for all of our musical guests. And I thought that, and our artists too, I thought that was really good too. So I want to just say thanks personally to the House of Wright for being just there for your pastor, being that you are a member of Zion Fair, but you didn't have to do all of that you did, whether it be the car service for all of our artists, as well as Trista just did it up for that ambiance of the room. It was just beautiful, and I'm grateful. And Kobe, when I saw that you were there, and I'm going to get on the politicians too, because you did show up, and a couple others cook, and I saw some of them show up. But for the most part, there was a lot of politicians who did not, and I'm kind of glad. Can I tell you why? Because I owe nobody anything. That means you didn't show up. Because I said I'm going to define my relationship with people based on them showing up for this event. Now, I will say we had almost 600 people there, so the love was there. But since I didn't see much politicians, I hope they don't come to me for too much of anything. And I'm because at this point, you showed up. What you need? When you need me to fight for somebody, I will fight with you. But Kobe, it was a good time, and I'm very grateful. I'm still on a cloud nine. The people showed the love. The people showed up, dancing, as well as the artists that sang. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful.
And I just want to give a shout out the Clark sisters.
Oh yeah.
And their niece was the first performer. Again, that whole family is extremely talented. Had everyone on their feet and everything. So again, And I know there was a little switch between two sisters at the end.
Twinkie was supposed. That's who. That was the. She was coming because of me because I love Twinkie in Oregon, but she has a chronic. She has lupus, and in the wintertime it affects her tremendously. So she wasn't able to make the trip. So they sent Dorinda. And listen to me. And you heard me. I think you stayed to the end, didn't you? Yeah. You heard me say, Dorinda, we wanted you all the time because I didn't want her to feel like we didn't, and we did. But we didn't have the money to bring all of them in, even though she gave credit to us bringing half of the sisters in. But I will say, Dorinda, first person was Kiera, who is the daughter of Karen. The one who came right behind her, that's her daughter.
Gotcha.
And she, for the young people, she just did a phenomenal job. My daughter wanted her to come. Okay. So that was really for my daughter. Karen was for my wife, who my wife really does love. And so she loved Dorinda too. I wanted Twinkie. And listen, it was really nice. And I'm grateful that they came and they didn't lack. They performed. They really, like you said, had people on their feet. And it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So thanks to all of you who supported us during this time. And I'm grateful for it. We opened our show today just basically saying thanks to everyone, even though I said a couple of people weren't there, but I'm not going to worry about that for real because I'm on cloud 9 right now, and I'm not even concerned about that. But what I want to make sure that we always doing is saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I personally went to every table. All 60-something tables I went to, and I said thank you to the people because it was important to me that they recognized that they didn't have to be there. They didn't have to show their love. They did, and I'm very grateful. So thank you, thank you. Those of you who could not make it because you had other obligations, thank you for your support over the last 20 years. Now we continue. Now it's time for the pen to start writing again, and we're going to see what the Lord does for us for the next 5 years. That's how we do it in increments of 5 years. In increments of 5. Easy and Fair passes only last 25 years, and then they decide to move on. So let's just see. I want to do 20, be the first to retire early, but we're going to see what the Lord would have us do. There are a couple of things I do want to talk about this week, and I'm very grateful. This week we didn't have any shootings that we are aware of, and we did try to do the research to see if or not there was some. But there were one situation I want to bring to our attention. That was where 3 juveniles were arrested for carjacking in Wilmington. And I think it was over in your district. Yeah. What do you know about that?
So it started in the 2nd District on West 28th Street in North Monroe. And the car, that's where the car was stolen. The officers spotted the cars on East 9th Street off of Lombardi. And then followed the car until they were able to stop it over my area, East Lee Boulevard area. And that's where they identified the 3 young teens who were in the car. One was 15, one was 16, and one was 17. They were all released after being arraigned in family court and faced charges of robbery, possession of burglary tools, conspiracy, and resisting arrest. The 16-year-old male is also being charged with disregarding a police official signal. I believe the 16-year-old was the one behind the wheel as cops were trying to get them to pull over. And a few of them, 2 of them fled on foot, but didn't make it far once they did stop off of Lee Boulevard.
Now, a question, and I'm not sure if you know the information on this, but now they called it a carjacking. Did they remove the person from the car, or was the person still in the car, or you have no clue?
No, from my understanding, there was no one in the car.
Okay.
It was I believe they used some type of tool to pop the door.
Also, you basically broke in a car and stole a car.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why would they use the word carjacking? Because usually when you carjack,
it's someone in there. You're pulling them
out, and you take their cars. I often see at like Wawa as well as at Dunkin' Donuts where people go in and get their coffee and things, and they leave their car running. I never understood that.
Well, this is the time of it's the holiday time. People are ordering gifts. People doing Amazon Flex is another big issue where, they're jumping out to drop off a package and someone runs and jump in your car. They don't even pull them over into the parking spot. They just stay in the middle of the street, door open, car on. You just have to be more vigilant, I think. You should be able to run into Wawa and leave your car on. I would never, because also I'm not wasting my gas if I'm not in there. But
I don't have gas. I'm just not going to do it.
But again, that's something that I think is a real reality, that it continues to happen every year. People will start their cars, leave their keys in there so that the car can warm up. Either with push to start, keyless start options now, people still leave the key in there while their car warms up and everything. So it is that time of the year where it is cold. So again, if you are going to warm your car up, make sure your doors are locked. Take your key out of it, and use your wheel lock as well too if you have one. I know Woman to Police gave those out not too long ago, especially if you had a Kia or a Hyundai, when they was doing that little TikTok trend of how to break into those cars.
Wow. Okay. Now I do want to shift us a little bit, and is this next thing I want to talk about? It's really dealing with Wilmington Police having outstanding leadership right now. There was a whole lot of cold cases. We never really heard about any cases being solved, but it seems like the more we moving into his administration. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about Campos's administration. The more we're seeing that he's not one-dimensional. He's not just concerned about crime on the street current, but the things that happened before now, and he's causing all the units to come together and say, look, y'all all have to report out and make some things and handle some of these cases. There was 3 sentenced to prison for that. I think it was a fatal kidnapping that occurred.
Yeah.
You know anything about that?
Yeah. So 3 out of the 5 individuals involved with this case were sentenced the other day. The other 2, their trials aren't until I believe the beginning of next year. But in 2021, there was a Wilmington man whose house was broken into. He was tied up, thrown in the back of a car, and taken up to an industrial yard in Delaware County, right across the line, and was shot and killed. The 32-year-old was sentenced to life in prison for shooting the individual, and I believe the victim was in their 20s, like 28. A 22-year-old was sentenced to 17.5 years for striking the victim with a tire iron. And then a 27-year-old woman was sentenced to 10 years in prison for driving the vehicle from the man's home to the industrial yard, where he was later, as still bound, he was executed there. So that's where that is. It is a federal case, but again, this came after the work of the Wilmington Police to investigate this and find who committed this crime.
Now, with the that was a little vicious. I mean, I'm just listening to you describe how they did this. Was there any motive that you may have heard, or?
According to the DOJ, this was a gang-related killing. And I don't know. Well, they didn't publicly state what gang. But again, the 3 members who were sentenced were all in one, and I guess the man who was killed was in another.
And how old did you say the one who was killed? How old was he again?
28.
He was 28. Okay. Yeah, I just when I saw that, I said, well, it's good. And like you said, this was a federal case, but for the city to be able to do some of the things that they did and make sure that these persons were held accountable, I think that's very much important. The U.S. Attorney's Office is the one who really handled the prosecution of the case. Last but certainly not least, on my end of the deal, I told y'all, that's all I can say. When I start talking about none of the options for the Reading committee would be valuable, I meant that. Now, before we get talking about this, what Brandywine did is what they will always do. They're going to show up, they're going to protect their children in their best interests, and they're going to say, Wayward Wilmington. Any option that included Brandywine, that's going to always be your biggest fight. And some of the ones that I think even the Reading Consortium is looking at, it involves Brandywine. They made it very clear that we are not pawns. And they're not going to have it. They're not going to have it. Kobe, why? You said you had a chance to go over to that meeting.
Yes.
Let's hear a little bit about it as I'm asking my question.
So We had a finance meeting.
Right.
So we thought we were going to get there late, but we got there right at the end of Senator Lockman and former Lieutenant Governor Matt Den's presentation on the Reading Consortium's recommendations. And as we got there, we could feel the tension in the room. Me and Councilman Hackett went. Standing room only. We were able to get into the main room, but there was the cafeteria was the overflow. They had put 3 big TVs in there. That room was packed as well too. 600 people was on the Zoom. It was like 653. Was on the Zoom when I looked, right? And from what I heard, more people joined as the meeting kept going on. So there was a lot of engagement around this. The part that really got me is 2 things. We have a school board representative who's supposed to represent the city of Wilmington. He's elected for District A, and he chose to use dog whistles when talking about our children in the Brandywine School District that I think should invalidate him from ever serving and representing our kids ever again. And he's up for election come this May, and I will not forget that. And I'm extremely disappointed in him. But that's also who Representative Namdi Chukwuka endorsed over who I endorsed.
Oh, wow.
And we have no Black representation on the school board as of right now.
In Brandywine.
So Namdi, who's the former co-chair of Reading, who was replaced by Matt Den, Namdi's still a part of it, and he's on this big push to get this done. It's one of his people who's, I'll nicely put it, screwing over the city of Wilmington right now when it comes to Brandywine. But we heard, oh, it's those kids are the issue. Why are we going to put those kids in with our kids? We don't want city kids. They're disruptive. They're uneducated. They don't know how to read. Why would we lower our standards for them? The comments you heard from parents, from some teachers, shows exactly what's wrong with Brandywine School District. Shows exactly what's wrong with Brandywine School District. If a teacher can get up there and say that, and say, oh, well, I don't want them in my classroom. Well, we already know that disproportionately, African-American kid and their white counterpart can do the exact same thing and will be disciplined on a different level.
Absolutely.
So if the teacher is telling you they don't even want the city kid in just because they're from the city, yes, they're going to be disciplined different. Yes, they're going to have more issues. Because you give little Timmy the wraparound services he needs. He gets to go sit in a corner and refocus himself. Little Timmy has ADHD. The little African-American kid is just bad, disruptive. Little Timmy can yell out. The little African-American kid can't. You give more care and love and resources to the little white kid than you do the little African-American kid. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And Brandywine School District has perpetuated this racism for a very long time. And I think it came to a head in this. And you even had one person get up there and say, y'all gonna call me racist, but I don't want those kids with my kids.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, gee.
Well, at least you acknowledge you are racist.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until one parent who got up there, older white lady, and she pretty much said that she was there because she didn't understand what was going on and she was nervous. But she also called out some of the dog whistles that she had heard and said, this has nothing to do with this plan. Y'all are just airing out your racism. So I'm glad some parents recognized it. But it was a horrible display of racism, of prejudice, of discrimination. And you had school board members who were smiling during that time, including Alex Najimi, who's supposed to represent the city of Wilmington.
Now, one of the things I wanted to make sure that we make clear, this is why I said we need a Wilmington school district with resources. Many people say we can get a school district, but we wouldn't get the resources. I'm saying the State Department, if they are really serious about our Wilmington children, they need to give us a school district within the city with the resources. Because listen to me, for 30 years, they've been having the argument about Wilmington children.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think, even this Reading Consortium, I think they have done well with their research. However, it is not going to go anywhere, and it'll be another 30 years we'll be having the exact same conversation. I think we should shift our focus. Our focus needs to shift to Wilmington, resources, and governor, make it happen. Christianity, that's the worst. I don't even know why they can just do away with that.
Yeah.
But if you think Brandywine is going, and I'm not using their dog whistle language, but that's what we knew. I knew. No, I want my children going to school with them. I don't want this. I don't want that, because this is who they are, and they're going to stick together. And no one has the political muscle. No one has the political guts to stand up against those people in Brandywine.
Mm-hmm.
They need their votes. And because they need their votes, they are going to continue to, they're going to say, you know what, we tried. Trying is not good enough. Our children deserve, and I'm going to have some meetings with some people behind the scene, and I'm going to make it very clear, I don't want none of the three. And I don't care what y'all going with. I know you may prefer one. People out there may prefer one. The governor may prefer one. I'm telling you right now, if I have any political muscle, I'm going to use all of it to make it clear, or I'm going to remember in November. Wilmington children deserve fair education. Because of your zip code, it should not be predicated upon you being the person who should not receive. If a child has ADHD, it needs to be treated appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Some children get it, and it's not a curse. It's there. We have to appropriately address it. Secondly, if we have some children who have learning disabilities, we supposed to address it. Because my neighborhood or my zip code doesn't bring in a lot of revenue, does not negate the fact that you have to still provide me with the services.
Right.
There is a right to be educated in America. Find the money.
They have the money.
I know they do. Take money from Brandywine, since they have such a large amount of money over there for their tax base. Mm-hmm. Don't let the Department of Education fund them at all. Don't give them any funding. Then they will see the need. But right now, I don't care about any of that. What I care about is Wilmington children being treated fairly. They should not have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning in order to make a bus and drive through all 3 different counties in order to go to school. They should have their own right here. Refit the schools we have here. Give us, if it's nothing but 4 or 5 schools, give us a facilities and resources so that our children can learn and grow and flow. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take anything else. I'm not going to get on anybody's side. I've been to the meetings. I've read the report. The only thing that's missing in the report is Brandywine is not going to have it. And when it come down to the politicians who have to vote on this, let's keep that in the front. They're not going to say, yes, let's just override Brandywine and we're going to do away with their school board. It ain't going to happen. So what I'm asking is that we take heart and take care of our children. And I'm not going to give up on that. And I brought that to the front today because when I saw what happened, I wasn't surprised. Some of y'all were, because you was like, oh, you can feel the tension in the room. That's what you said. That's why I didn't go, because it would have angered me, not because I was surprised, but because it was confirmed.
Yeah.
That's all. And I'm very disoriented. I'm hurt behind it. But I'm not going to give up on our Wilmington children. And I don't care how much people say they are violent, they are this, they are the other. They are not resourced.
Correct.
That's the issue. If they were resourced appropriately, then they would get the services they need, and we would have a better day, a better community, a better educational opportunities. And until that happens, I am not interested. So I'm going to kind of like leave it there. But that was horrible. So hearing some of the things you said that angered me, that's why I didn't want to go.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of people that feel that way. It's a lot of people who just feel like nothing's going to change.
Right.
And again, this isn't something new. Right? They've been fighting for this for decades. I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest issues that we have to face is, can we build enough political pressure in this election year to make them vote how the community wants them to vote?
Yeah, well, we can if we can get the apathy away. We're gonna have to start working, and I think behind the scenes, this is what's gonna have to happen. Wilmington is a strong base, and if we can get the people to vote beyond that one district that votes very strongly, but if we can get the people to vote and do what we need to do, I'm sure we can make things happen. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna come back with the Kobe Corner. We'll be right back.
Pastor and People's 20th anniversary is right around the corner, and everybody's talking about it. Now we've got even more to announce. So here's a sneak peek at our 5 electric guest preachers coming here to E Zion Fair this December.
You need to understand that when you counted me out, you didn't know that I was a part of what God is building in the earth. You might not think I'm much, but I'm a bad man. All Jesus had to say was, peace be still. And order was restored. Do you know we serve a God who's able to restore order on tonight? And if he can do it in the universe, he can do it in this country. If he can do it on the universe, he can do it in our communities. He does it as we declare the word. That's why some of y'all act a fool in church and run around and sweat, because folk don't know your then. They just see you in your now. And they got the nerve to be jealous of your now. They got the nerve to hate on you now. But you can't want my now if you didn't have my then.
There's a reason that you are still breathing. So bring God your brokenness. Bring God your emptiness. Bring God your worries. Bring God your wounds. Bring God your fears. Trust God to work things out, because God is up to something in your life. Glory to God. It is the picture of the providence of God. Somebody say providence. 2 words that come together. Pro video in the Latin. Pro video. It literally means that God goes ahead of us, sees before us, and works out everything we need, so by the time we get there, all we can say is, all things work together for the good of those who love God. That'll call according to his paper.
So join us December 1st through 6th for our sermon series, and get ready to look your finest for our Black Tie Gala on December 7th at the Chase Center. Buy your ticket today in the lobby and online by scanning our QR code or visiting our Eventbrite page. And if you are interested in a payment plan, please see Deaconess Benson or Sister Lum in the lobby today. See you there, E Zion Fair.
So, Kobe, what's going on with the Kobe Corner?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, and a lot of it has to do with housing that I want to talk about this week. We are in the holiday season, and you know it's good to be home to put up your tree and decorate and everything. But for so many people, that's not a reality right now, and I wanted to talk about that. I follow the federal level, the state, the county, the municipality, not just Wilmington's, but all of them up and down this state. And Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester is working extremely, extremely hard on trying to get her New Way Home agenda passed, to the point where she has brought on bipartisan support for all her major bills. This is looking at how you build stronger communities, allowing and incentivizing municipalities to do zoning reform, looking at how making housing is more attainable, what tax credits can be created to help developers build at a cheaper rate so that they can sell it at a cheaper rate. And then lastly, looking at just overall expanding the housing supply, right? We know we pretty much have no starter homes, because if you look at it, people who are making 120 AMI, there's no houses available for them. So what houses do they take? They take the houses that would usually be available for people who are making 100 or who are making 80% AMI, right? And then when you take their houses, where do they go? They take the 60%. And then now you get into a place where it's just no affordable housing available for those who truly, truly need it, right? There's no starter homes anymore.
Yeah, when you say AMI, just for the purpose of people who are listening, what does that mean?
Area median income,
Okay,
right?
so make sure you
Which again, it changes again based on the area, right? But again, it's something that is so hard to attain for people. Is being able to buy a home right now. And what's even worse about that is rent prices have skyrocketed. And we haven't seen that decline coming out of the pandemic, right? we've seen a greater need, which again, landlords, their whole thing is we're supposed to provide quality housing and make money. Well, if you have more people in competition with that housing, hey, I could raise the prices because someone's going to pay it, right? When you have more housing available, they have to lower the prices to keep people in their places. So we haven't seen that turnaround yet. And they keep saying, oh, well, the market's about to break. It's about to go in a decline. When? Please happen. Um, and what Senator Blunt Rochester is trying to do is lay a strong foundation for success for people. And she's looking at it, and I really like the way that she went about this, of looking at every step of the way. How can we ease the burden on the homeowner? How can we ease the burden on the developer? How can we ease the burden on municipalities, right? Because of course, we get the calls, we get the concerns, we look at different ways, and there's always a debate whether rent stabilization or something is the right way. But, I think doing it this way gives her the opportunity from a federal standpoint to really look at what is truly going on here in Delaware, but also across this nation, right? You 90% of Americans, right? Their housing costs outpace their incomes. What that means is they don't make enough money to live in a house that they're currently in.
Right.
And if you do own a house, don't let something major happen. Don't let a pipe break, a roof get a hole in it. It seems like something happens all the time. As soon as you pay something off, then something else, and then don't even include the car in there. The tire pops or something. So again, if you are able to own, you have those issues. If you are a renter, well, hopefully you have a good landlord that when issues do come up, that they take care of it, right? You've been paying them this money, they've been making a profit. They should be putting a portion of that aside so that they can fix up the house when they need be. I have a slumlord in my district right now that we're going back and forth with because one of his clients, he has a family in there, a young woman and 2 kids. And we had a very rough season when it comes to rain and wind and everything. And a tree branch, I guess, hit the top of the roof, caused some damage, and now the roof is leaking. And having talked to her, she's called for additional help. He refuses to fix it because he blames her for not cutting down the neighbor's tree to stop that from hitting the roof. So it's her fault. That's his way of thinking.
Oh, wow.
As we talked about on this show, you have landlords like AJ Pacormi. Well, former landlords. He no longer has any of his properties. Who were just complete slumlords, letting people live in deplorable conditions and charging top rent. So again, this moves us in the right step, but we still have a very long way to go. The Senate has passed this now. And now it's up to the Republican-controlled House of whether or not they want this to go forward. And I will say Senator Blunt Rochester has worked with the Senate Republicans to talk to the House Republicans. But unfortunately, it seems like they don't want to move on something like this, even with the bipartisan support. And the last part I want to talk about with that is the smart tax policy, right? So again, we've heard a lot about taxes and giving tax breaks to the ultra wealthy. Using tax credits as a way to fund and streamline the process for affordable housing development, I think is always key and what we should be doing. So again, she is looking to address that by offering additional tax credits for this type of build. Again, this would lock in places for to be affordable for longer as well too. So I look forward to seeing where this goes and speaking to some of my colleagues in the National Municipal Officials Association from other states to reach out to their representatives and ask them to support this who are in Republican areas. And to be honest, I have worked with a few Republicans in the past to bounce ideas off. And to be honest, I tried to keep the Democrat Republican notion out of it and just talk to them like they're a normal human being. And most of them are good people who we agree on a lot, except for we have a different registration. So if we can convince them to go ahead and reach out to their conservative member in Congress, hopefully this can get the ball moving. We know our Congresswoman Sarah McBride is supporting of this, and hopefully they get a chance to vote on this pretty soon. Next, I want to talk about again, I'm used to long meetings, but when I talk to some of my counterparts in other municipalities here in Delaware, such as Dover and Georgetown, if a meeting is more than 2 hours, they start complaining. I was like, "Oh, you've never been to a Wilmington meeting." But after a very long meeting down in Georgetown with over an hour and a half of public comment, Georgetown, in a vote 4-1, passed a zoning ordinance that would allow for micro housing to be developed in Georgetown. Georgetown is the home of the Pallet Village, which is the tiny homes. Now they want to expand to 2 other parcels down there. The plan is to build 20 tiny homes near the Circle in Georgetown. But it had been getting some pushback in the permitting and zoning. So again, this is to rezone 2 of its properties for little living to build tiny homes down there. And it's 501 and 503 East Market Street in Georgetown. The final vote, now that they did the zoning to allow for the tiny homes, now they have to do the rezoning vote for those 2 parcels, which will take place probably in early 2026. But this is, again, Georgetown is trying to address their homeless issue down there, and they're trying to do it with dignity by giving people a structure to live in instead of living out in the elements and in the weather that we're dealing with right now. Which brings me to Wilmington. In Wilmington, we had a homeless task force. That was the mayor's homeless task force that me and Councilwoman Bracy from council sat on. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to sit on it. Did I agree with everyone on there? Absolutely not. But there was a lot of good people on there that understand the policy. We want to keep that going. So under the committee that I chair, which is the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee, we have created a subcommittee to focus solely on homelessness and how to come up with policies for moral solutions to help that community out. In the meantime, I have been going down a few nights a week and providing food and additional items, whether it's hats, gloves, snacks, at nighttime to the individuals who are at Christina Park. And every time I go down there, it continues to grow. And I call her the mayor of Tent City, Miss Sandy, and she walks me around every time. And I just talk to the people. And what really breaks my heart is people truly believe these people don't want to do better. But there's at least 3 people down there that work for grocery stores in the stocking. Like they stock the shelves and everything. You have someone who works security. You have people who have jobs, but they can't afford the living.
I don't understand why people can't understand that. I mean, it's easy to overlook the homeless. It's easy to say, "Oh, they don't want to do better," because this keeps us comfortable. But why can't we have a little humanity and say, you know what, this person want more, but can't because of the way the government is structured, because of the way policies are made. And then when people like yourself out there fighting for them, they say, well, you're just making noise. But when in actuality, you're the only voice a lot of them even have. And it troubles me, when I constantly hear and see people like, okay, don't worry about it. A gentleman came to our church and said that he wanted somebody to help with some homeless advocacy. And I said, I'm definitely there because that's who I've always been, to speak for the person who cannot speak for themselves. But why can't we just see that these are human beings who need help?
Yeah. And listen, you never know what your situation may turn to one day.
Absolutely.
And just have some humanity. I go down there pretty late. I get down there around 8:30, to try to give most people time to get back, right? For the ones who do work, who may have missed the resources throughout the day to get food and stuff like that. They need some extra clothing and stuff like that. Again, they need some extra resources. But again, I don't think, when you look at where Tent City is right now, my biggest concern is the water, and the overall weather elements as well too. And I know that the mayor's office has purchased some more heavy duty blankets for them down there. But again, it's about us all coming together and showing love to our neighbors. So I do encourage people that if you have supplies to donate during these winter months, that you consider donating it. More tents, more blankets. Even if you have an old throw blanket that may be too small for someone to wrap up in, what they do is they'll string it up in the tent to block some of the air that's coming into the tent and everything.
Yeah, our church is going to be doing this year, instead of us. My daughter has a homeless program that she's been operating. I can't call it a 501c3 because it's not. It's the Curry's funds, but she always had a love for helping the homeless. For the last 4 years, I believe it is. Every Christmas we take them gifts and food. This year she wants to shift it up a little bit, and she wants to do blanket, socks, and gloves and things like that. Something that's very meaningful for right now. And what I'm gonna do with the church is I'm gonna ask the church, instead of us bringing gifts to the altar to give the children who are less fortunate, I want them to bring quilts, blankets, and things like for those who are homeless, so that we can give them out. And it's never too much, never too much. So that's what we're going to be doing also, to help with that. And I hope everybody who watch us will say, you know what, Kobe drives down there. I'm not first of all, I had to repent. And I often share this experience because when I first did it with my daughter, my wife and I, the three of us went to give it right there where the train station, but the
underneath the bridge.
I said to my daughter, I said, listen, Daddy is here. Don't be afraid. I will handle it. Your father, and I'm trying to get her prepared for people to be disrespectful and nasty and things of that nature. When we got back in the car, my daughter said, Daddy, you was making me think that they was going to be mean and nasty. They were so very polite. And I had to repent because I wanted to set her up to be prepared. They're grateful. They're grateful. And I think what we really need to do, those who watch us, let's try to give something back for Christmas. Our children, my daughter, she has everything she needs. And I'm glad she's looking beyond herself. Say, let's help somebody else. And we need to do that too. And they don't need a toy. They need something warm. They need a blanket. They need those. We give out those heating things that you hand warmers. We give those type of things out, and that's what they need, not just for one day. They need enough so they can survive, and they are grateful. And I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry it takes me your time.
No. I think it's important, and one thing in there that I think a lot of people overlook, that I'm glad that your daughter Ashley is looking to do, is the socks.
Yeah.
People may give people one pair of socks and be like, "Oh, you're good," because I could wear one pair of socks multiple days. When you are out in the elements, especially very close to water, they get damp very fast. So they go through a ton of pairs of socks, and because of how cold it is, even if they string up those pairs of socks, and if you go down there, you'll see 7, 8 pairs of socks hanging up on a wire from one person, and they're all still damp. They can be out there all day long, and they will still be
because
damp.
of the climate.
So again, they go through a lot of socks just to try to stay warm. And if you can keep your feet warm, you can help regulate your body temperature. But the colder they get, the worse a situation can turn, right? And when we are facing week-long 30-degree or negative 30 or under 30-degree weather at night, it increases the chance that someone may pass away. If you are taking food down there, take food that is loaded up in carbs.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, ugh, carbs. No, take pasta. Because it helps your body, especially when we're at nighttime, when you're shivering and you're burning off a lot of that. The more carbs you have, the better your body can operate in lower temperatures. I have slept outside before. I've done it in a few protests over the years. But I've had time to prepare, right? I've had a week or two to start loading up on carbs, preparing my body with the proper liquids and everything. And I was only out there for a few nights, right? I've done this in DC when it was like 15 degrees, right? And we've slept outside. But again, these people are out there every single night. So they don't get an opportunity to prepare. So when you do have a chance, take pastas down there. Take chicken noodle soup that have noodles in it, right? Something like that.
Okay, good. I think that will help us to begin to walk into the season of Christmas. As a pastor, I often tell the story that God sent Jesus so that he can help those who could not help themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the whole purpose of the Christianity walk, is that we helping those who cannot help themselves. It's not about us. It's really about, as a matter of fact, I got really creative one year, Kobe, and I said that God dignified dirt, because he is God, but he dignified dirt by creating Jesus so that he could come and save a world that needed a savior. So I hope that we will take that serious. Before we let you go, do you have any updates for the city council that you wanted to just bring up?
So city council, this past Thursday was their last meeting for 2025, and will not be back to meeting in session until 2026. January 8th is the next council meeting. But as of right now, all legislation will roll over to the next year that we're currently working on. And if you have ideas that you think city council should be addressing, please feel free to reach out to me at CJ Owens, OWENS, at Wilmington, spelled out, DE.gov.
CJO. Criminal Justice Owens. When you said your initials, that's the first time I ever heard of it. I was trying to think, how can I throw some power in there? We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with just one topic. I want to talk a little bit about the new strategy the Republicans have to try to get two of their oldest members to retire from the Supreme Court so they can make a move that may last for another couple generations. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
It's gonna be real good.
Zion Fair is hosting its most extravagant celebration yet. Join us on December 7th for the Pastor and People's 20th Anniversary Black Tie Gala event. Be ready to move, because our special guests are bringing the music and soul that'll get you jumping out of your seats. You're not going to want to miss these three musical giants. Welcoming the illustrious voice of Kiera Clark Sheard. The incomparable piano talents of Twinkie Clark. And the majestic music of Karen Clark Sheard. Don't miss this rare opportunity to hear these gospel legends perform. So be there at the Chase Center at 7 p.m. on December 7th. Get your tickets in the lobby after service, at the front office during the week, or anytime online on our Eventbrite page. And don't forget to ask about our layaway plan.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care. And they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
This land is your land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution. Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
And we're back. Real quick, Kobe, we don't have any more time really left. One of the strategies, and I give Republicans credit because they do strategize until Trump got in there. Now he's just doing stuff. But they were able to successfully get the Supreme Court in their favor, which is causing Trump to do whatever he wants to do, has given him immunity to everything. As a matter of fact, even the last decision that was made where they gave him the power to fire the woman that
on the FCC.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's just they're giving him power to do whatever he wants to do. Now, this is their strategy. Let's make two of them retire. And I like the black folks. No, I shouldn't say the black folks. I mean the Democrats, where no, I ain't retiring. I'm gonna die in the position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think Clarence Thomas and Alito is going to retire?
I could see Alito stepping down and retiring to give Trump an opportunity to appoint at least one more. I think Clarence Thomas, he wants to die on the court. So that will be the very interesting part right there.
Now, one of the things that McConnell did was he held up from Gorsuch, how you say his name? Gorsuch from getting. Wait, he held up the nomination of what's the guy who Obama wanted to appoint?
He became
the one who did
Biden's AG. Oh,
yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank?
And I did too. But anyway, they held that up and didn't let him appoint.
Mm-hmm.
If we get the Senate, or if we get the Congress,
Merrick Garland,
yeah. If we get the Senate or the House in November, can they do the same thing?
Yes. Yeah. The Senate does not have to confirm someone whatsoever. The president has been set by Mitch McConnell in the past, who for a year and a half held out pitting the confirmation of Merrick Garland on to the Supreme Court. And again, at the end of Trump's term, when Justice Ginsburg passed away, people were like, oh, you can't allow this to happen. Millions of people have already started to vote. And within a month, they nominated Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court and put her on the Supreme Court as well, too. Under Trump's last presidency, after he got Neil Gorsuch on to the Supreme Court, he wanted to at least do two. They negotiated with Anthony Kennedy for him to retire from the bench early so that they could put Brett Kavanaugh on the bench and go from there. So again, they could do almost anything they want. It all comes down to whether or not individuals are going to have the political will to fight back or not.
Yeah, well, I just hope that they will decide, you know what, I like what California did. You want to change the maps, we're going to change it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who says it's wrong. we're going to do it. We got to fight fire with fire at this point because this man is destroying our country. Let me ask you this question. What is the process for the government or the senators or Congress? Who makes the decision on whether or not we should increase the Supreme Court?
The U.S. Congress.
So Congress says we want to add 5 seats, and then it has to be approved by Senate.
Yes.
And you got to have 60 votes in the Senate.
Yes.
So that's going to be difficult to do.
Yep. Unless they break the filibuster.
Yeah, they're not going to do that right now.
Right.
Because we got too many filibuster believers and lovers and things of that nature. Let me ask you this question then. What do you think our chances are of getting the House now? Because we've been talking about that a whole lot.
It's still very high, even with these new maps that are coming out that eliminated 2 Democratic seats in Indiana. Based off these special elections that are happening in lower level state houses and everything, it's all trending towards a Democratic wave.
What if the ones that are, and I was told to tell every Democrat who makes that comment about wave, stop, don't say it no more. Because we don't want no wave, we just want to win. and that was the curse that was put on other people. But let me ask you this question. Now in the Senate, what do you feel about the Senate?
The Senate is still in play. There's been some heavy hitters that the Democrats have been able to recruit in some key and critical seats. I think the biggest thing is going to be Texas. And right now, Colin Allred has stepped out of that race. And you have James Torkalski, who got his fame during when they left the state to break the quorum down there. And you have Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman, who's now in that race as well too. I think either one of them will be formidable.
They are in the race for their party.
Yes.
And then it's going to be party against party.
Then it's going to be whoever wins the Republican side. Now, the Republican side is going to be interesting as well too, because John Cornyn most likely will not win his primary. So it comes down to will Wesley Hunt, a black man, win, who's a congressman and a veteran? Will he win that primary, or will the corrupt AG Ken Paston win that primary? If Ken Paston wins that primary, I think Democrats have a better chance of winning.
Really? But Crockett, I like her.
I do too. She has an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Again, the state, it has the most black people in it, but it's a lot to vote for a black person down in Texas.
Really? Well, they got crabitis.
Listen. They still the South. They still the South.
Man, I didn't know. So there's a lot of blacks in Texas?
Yeah, Texas has by population, has the most African Americans of any state. But that's just because Texas is so large. Percentage-wise, they're not that high up.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's interesting to hear. Well, Cole, we were able to cover many things this week. Let me once again thank everybody for celebrating 20 years with me. From December 1st through the 7th. It was a phenomenal week. It was phenomenal preaching, phenomenal musical guests, phenomenal people and friends who just came, and we just had a very good time. We filled that big Wilmington room in the Chase Center, and thank you. Kobe, I don't know what's next for us, but we're going to keep trucking.
Yes.
We're going to keep trucking. Is there anything you have on your docket for today?
That's all I have right now.
Okay, well, that's all he has right now. Then we're going to call it quits. And listen, keep watching. We're not going anywhere. Until the next time, God bless.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Kobe Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.